Year, first of all. How are you doing, guys?
Happy New Year, mate.
Happy New Year to you.
So, first of all, I mean, congratulations on on working with CAA and JMB. I mean, after everything we've been through the last sort of 18 months, that must be a really big pickup for all of you, no?
Yeah, it's massive. It's huge, especially CAA. Like they work with like falls, fontaines, and stuff.
I mean, how did that all come about? Was that just kind of off the back of the concerts that you've been playing, or was it through other bands that kind of talked about you? How did it all come to fruition?
Well, our booking agent called Mark Bennett, he used to work independently for like NBA Live, and we sort of started working together when he was like, he'd been in it a while, but he wasn't working for any like big companies. And then he merged with CAA like only like 2 months ago. So for us, that's massive, really, because it means he gets like someone to help him out and stuff, like an assistant and things like that. So good for us.
Brilliant. So, I mean, obviously that's great news, but the last 18 months have been crazy. I mean, not just for bands in general, but for bands, unsigned bands, new bands, it must have been just totally crazy. How did you approach that when lockdown first hit? How did you kind of think, shit, what we're going to do now? And then kind of, how did you kind of adapt to the situation?
I think me and Jake, we were both living in Liverpool together at a uni gaff. And so it was kind of a case of, right, we can't go out and gig. We can't do the live scene that much. So what else can we do in the meantime to keep our profile? Or in fact, we actually did a good job in raising our profile throughout the first lockdown, just through like Twitter videos, covers of songs that we liked, and just keeping things going. We did quite a lot of streams as well, which was good. Just for the fans that have been through, like, I mean, I know bands say this a lot, but the fans that we have really have been through, like, with us through thick and thin. They've had to sit and watch like Friday nights spent on a Zoom call. So yeah, fair play to them.
But I mean, how much actual material did you actually kind of have recorded or have ready, kind of when you were going into lockdown, to kind of that you hoped maybe to take on tour and that you were going to release? How much was actually down on tape?
When we went into lockdown, we'd just done a single, Measured in Gold, and we released, I think it came out like I think it was on Thursday, wasn't it? And then we got put into lockdown on like the weekend, didn't we? So we had nothing really. We had no recorded material or anything. We had a couple of gigs booked in some festivals, so that was a bit gutting. I think we had like Kendall Calling Main Stage, which was like really gutting to not play that, especially when it came around. Like on the day, I remember seeing loads of posts on social media, like, wish I was at Kendall, seeing Stanley's and stuff. But we worked through it. Like, we ended up getting let into the practice room. I think it was like a couple of weeks into the lockdown, because we sort of classed it as like crucial work, really. It's what we want to do for our careers. So they ended up letting us use the rehearsal room. So I think we just started rehearsing, getting ready for gigs again, and getting tight as a band. So
and writing as well.
Sorry.
And writing as well. Like, we had a lot of opportunity to like actually work on those new songs, because I know over the that first period of lockdown, there's a lot of time where we were just like refining stuff, and it did give us an opportunity to work on that new stuff. And then eventually, when we had the opportunity to take that into a studio and make it real, really.
Yeah, and it gives us a lot of fuel for writing. I think it's like, I mean, what's better than writing a song about anger and like force?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to ask you. I was like, a lot of bands like go off into the country, like to record an album to kind of see if it pays off. And I imagine just kind of being locked in this bubble must have really paid off in terms of lyrics. But I mean, in terms of musically speaking, do you think it's also kind of had an effect? You've played, I don't know, maybe more rage in the guitars and the drums from being in lockdown?
Better. Yeah, I think we've got better. When we went into lockdown, I think it was pretty good, but just trying to think of the kind of gigs we did then. We played the Snug in Atherton in January, which was a decent set, but I wouldn't say we were like as good as we are now, because we still had like months and months behind the scenes to get better. I know a lot of friends who sort of saw us before lockdown, like January, February, said to us like, "Oh, I've just seen, when we played like the Ritz with lottery winners and stuff like that," and it was like the difference in that 12 months, it was weird for them because they'd only seen us twice. But obviously during that period, we had loads of time to rehearse, so I think it was quite good, really.
Yeah. So I mean, you said you got better there. I mean, I'm interested. I'm curious how the four of you got into music, because I mean, when I'm given my age, I'm 46 now, but when I was at school, music was like a really big thing. It was really cool to be in a band. And I live in Spain now. My kids, the music education just feels really rubbish compared to what I used to get at school. How did the four of you fall into music, and how did the four of you come to start playing together?
Well, when we first started, it was just me and Jake really at first wanting to start getting into playing music together, so just with drums and a little bit of guitar, because Jake was just learning, and then
I was rubbish. I was awful.
Going and then we started going, and we eventually started making a full band. We got Harry in, and this was all I was in high school, and we only met Tom when we went to college. So then when we went to college, we started forming what is now Stanley's really, and playing together. And it was through school and college and having the opportunity to play live music that did lead us to being able to do it, really.
Yeah, it was our mates group as well, I believe. You go to a party, and this is literally how we started the conversation about a band. So these three have been jamming together and just kind of not really mentioned it to many other people. And we'd go to parties and there'd be the group of people listening to techno in one corner and then all the weirdos in the other corner listening to indie music, where we'd all be sat. And that's how the conversation arose. Harry was just... it was me and Harry that got speaking about music, because he was just we were playing songs and have you heard this? Have you heard The Jam? Have you heard The Cure? Have you heard Stone Roses? What's your favourite songs? And then we're all like, we've all got pretty good music tastes.
Yeah.
And that's how it came about, really. So
I mean, all the bands you mentioned there are they're going back to my heydays when I was in the 80s and 90s. And I was reading something on Twitter the other day that's kids in history class are being taught Britpop. So I'm glad to hear that you're kind of listening to that music. But I imagine that's stuff that you got into on your own, not from history class at school, no?
Yeah, and parents, I think. A lot of our parents are big influences on us. And just, I think good music, no matter when it was written, stands the test of time, really. So, we just pick what we think's the best music, and it just happens that that's probably all from 60s to 90s, really.
I mean, go back to that. Have you all seen the latest The Beatles documentary, Get Back, yet?
Yeah.
I've not seen it yet.
All 9 hours of it, yeah.
I'm just curious, what did you think about that? It just blew my mind especially Paul McCartney, but all of them, they were just most of them self-taught and just whacked out those tunes nobody's business. It was amazing.
I think the best bit of it, the bit I enjoyed, is when they were in the studio and when they were rehearsing for it, was sort of how many songs around that time that they used to cover. They just break out into whatever was top of the charts, and a Rolling Stones tune or a bit of Chuck Berry that they're influenced by, and they all just they used to literally live music. A lot of the time they weren't playing their own stuff. They were just jamming out Chuck Berry songs and a bit of Elvis and stuff. So.
Yeah, and then they brought that pianist, didn't they? They just started jamming along with him, and it's just they just
Billy
gel so amazingly. Is it a similar atmosphere when you're recording? Do you like to play along with other songs before you get into your own stuff, or do you focus on what you want to get recorded?
We do noodle. We do noodle a lot. Well, we started out playing pubs and stuff, doing just covers. Because it's where a lot of the money was, really. We started saving up a bit of money and just getting better at our instruments and stuff. So we used to just play all covers, the Kinks, the Stones, Beatles, Oasis, Blur, all that kind of stuff. So
2 grueling hours of whatever covers we fancied that week. So
6 hours set of The Jam and the Smiths on repeat.
Brilliant. So I mean, obviously you didn't have very much stuff down on tape before lockdown, but then you released your first EP just recently. And then I was reading in another interview that you did that when you released that, you'd already recorded a second EP as well.
Yeah. So it's all done, yeah.
Recorded quite a lot of stuff over lockdown, no?
Yeah, well, the way you have to work it is, it's funny you mention this because we're chatting to a guy called Rob Lally from Lottery Winners recently, and he was saying about they've just released a second album. It's done really well, got a chart placement and stuff. And they're already finishing off the third one. It's when you do it, you have to do it 6 months in advance. So our second EP is all ready to go. I think we finished recording it in June or something like that. I mean, we finished mixing it end of summer, and it's being mastered at the minute, so it's ready to go, really.
Just in my personal opinion, comparing the first EP to the second, there's such a vast difference in emotions and the way we were feeling, and a bit more maturity, I think, in the music. And it's got, I think both EPs have a feel to them that are quite different from each other, which is a good thing, I suppose. yeah, I do like I think the second EP is gonna, well, for me, it says a lot and it does a lot for me. So I hope the same for whoever listens to it.
Uh-huh. And obviously, I mean, especially with the Lathams really kind of breaking out the last couple of years, especially the last year, that must have really kind of focused the spotlight on Wigan bands, no? Especially kind of indie. I mean, there's all different kind of music coming out of Wigan, but especially kind of these indie Wigan bands. That must really kind of helped get the spotlight on them and kind of the rest of the groups that are around. Because I think you've been gigging with the Lathams quite a while before they kind of really made a big name for themselves, no?
Yeah, we played with Lathams quite a few times, and I think one of their first gigs was playing with us because we were good friends with them through like knowing them through Wigan and friends. But over the last couple of years, the music scene in Wigan is just getting like ridiculous. It's amazing. You can go to a gig. I know a few of us went to one at a local venue to us the other week, and there's like 3-4 bands from Wigan on, and they're just absolutely amazing, and everyone's just pushing each other to just be better and better and better. And the spotlight's definitely on Wigan at the minute, and the music that's coming out from everyone really just like blows us away every time we hear it. So it's definitely a fantastic thing for us and for every other band, just seeing the success from the Lathams and other bands coming through off the back of that.
Mm-hmm. Something else that must have been mind-blowing for you talking of Wigan is the fact that you managed to play a live gig whilst everyone was in lockdown in Wigan Stadium. Now, that must have been crazy.
We did it like completely locked in, so it was just literally us and then like the production crew.
Okay. I could see like a few people spied around. I thought it was like, all right, okay.
They're all like, what they did, all the football clubs, is they did like schemes where you could pay like 20 quid or whatever, and they do like a cardboard cutout of you in the stadium. All right. So I know Wigan did it, I know Bolton did it, a few others at the time, like League One clubs did it as well. I think Sunderland did it. And loads of Prem teams did as well, didn't they? Where you can buy like cardboard cutouts. So in the stadium, it was really eerie because it was filled with like in the distance cardboard cutouts of people, like season ticket holders and stuff. So we had to perform to like pretty much an empty stadium apart from the production crew with all these cardboard cutouts in the background. It was an amazing feeling though to gig like at the DW Stadium was mega. Like me and Harry, massive Wigan fans, been going since we were like literally like in the womb. So it was a good feeling to be honest. And even like Robin
Tom. Tell everyone that we played to a full DW Stadium.
Yeah, it's funny as well.
Yeah, it was like 10,000.
Walking through, there'll be like a few people who put like jokey ones in. So like we were having a quick look at some of the cardboard cutouts, and it's like Barack Obama, Mark Corrigan. Like it was a bit crazy, really.
Brilliant. I mean, also aside from that, you also did recently a kind of a Band-Aid. You all got together, did a Live Aid, Wigan single. How did that come about? Tell me about how that came about and what it's in aid of, because it was in aid of a charity at the same time, no?
Yeah. It was for the Brick in Wigan, like a homeless charity. So they've got like a food bank there and stuff, and they also like rehabilitate people. So people can't find work and stuff like that because they've not got an address and things like that. They help people get back on their feet. So, and we didn't do anything for Christmas last year because like a lot of bands do covers and stuff like that. I know Lathams last year did that MTV, like a cover of like an Elvis Christmas song or something. And we really wanted to do something for Christmas, but we didn't get around to it last year. So this year, I think we sort of tried to make up for it by doing something massive.
Yeah, and with that, the Wigan music scene, like we were talking about, we're all good friends with so many of those bands. And I remember Jake bringing it up in the practice room. Like, do you think we can get away with actually getting everyone together for this Band-Aid thing? And we were pretty skeptical that we'd like be able to fit around everyone's schedule when the idea only came up in mid-November. But then Jake worked so hard with Will Watts from Flechettes to do a lot of the production for it. And as soon as we reached out to other bands, they were just all so up for the idea of doing something to help people in Wigan. And everyone was just amazing. And over 2 days, we just got it recorded and filmed. And then it slowly became what it is now. And it's done really well. So it's great.
Well, all literally, like, I just want to say, like on the actual track that Tom did the opening vocals, which I don't know if you've heard it or not, which were ridiculously like good. and we like me and Will weren't very good at editing and stuff. So like people like Rob played the drums and I played the bass, and Tom sung the opening line on it. And it was like to get it right, you know, you had to be like really good and spot on. And like the musicians that performed on it were ridiculously good. Like, it just shows like level of talent, not just that Tom, Rob, and Harry have got, but also like all the other bands in Wigan. It just sounded amazing. Like even with the parts as well. I remember like planning it. It was dead last minute, and we were doing a rehearsal. But Rob and Tom did like all the harmonies on a sort of rough demo, so that we could use them to teach to all the singers. Because there's loads of harmonising. It was like Boy George, George Michael, and stuff like that. And I remember, because I'm like, I can't really sing. I remember Rob and Tom, like, I was showing them the isolated vocals, and we tracked on a rough version all the different harmony parts to show like the different singers in the studio, like, you're going to do this bit, you're going to do that bit. And I think it took us like 2 hours, and they got the entire thing down, all like 4-part harmonies and everything. So that's the sort of the unsung heroes in it, really, because without them two, it wouldn't have been doable. And the drums and bass on it are ridiculously good as well. Literally sound like the tracks. Like Harry and Rob nailed it as well.
I mean, just to finish off, this is like these interviews are going to showcasing new bands. So what I want to do from the people that I get on here is either from your time touring with other new bands, or from just bands that you've discovered online. Is there anyone else that you'd like to that you recommend that people listen to?
Should we say one each or something like?
Yeah, that'd be
one
good.
band
Yeah.
each? Someone else start. I can't.
I've been barking on about the Wigan scene. I'll start with a Wigan one. I'll say Facades from Wigan. They're absolutely smashing it at the minute, and definitely worth a listen.
You stole my one, Robert.
Oh.
Come on, Jake.
Nah, I can't. I'm still thinking. Harry, what are you saying? Harry, are you with us?
Is Harry even there?
You might have frozen. Go on, take it away, Conky.
It's tricky, really, because I think like there's a lot of bands already. The ones that I'm listening to at the minute that are inspiring me the most are bands that are like got the limelight already.
Yeah.
But I think people that deserve more attention than they're getting at the minute is the likes of Flechettes. I mean, Jack Keaton, the lead singer out of that. We've known him for years and years, and he is one of the most talented and hardworking lads in Wigan. It's just such a nice thing to see someone so passionate about the music and about the music scene. But if you get him on this show, he will spend half an hour talking to you about nuclear weapons. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts there.
Yeah. I'd say probably Red Rum Club from Liverpool. Sort of a band that are doing really well at the minute.
That's another band that's really kind of. Sorry to break you. It's just that it's another band that's released one album. They came out with the thing was the third album, or straight afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah. They've not stopped. We gigged with them at the Old Course. Must have been 2019. I want to say January 2019, something like that. It was a This Feeling show. It was the bill was Red Rum Club headline. They sold it out. A band called Big Bambora and us as support. And it was like just seeing them there was mesmerizing. Like they got all the crowd up like onto the stage, and that Fran, the lead singer, was like getting everyone dancing. It was mad. And to see them then, they'd all just quit the jobs then, or they'd gone part-time or something to focus on the band. And I remember chatting to them backstage, saying like, "This is the start of it. We're going to give it a go. We're not sure where it's going to go." And I'll fast forward like 2 years. You know, they've sold out like massive venues in Liverpool. You know, they played main stage Sound City. So they're doing so well, and it's nice to see. Like I was chatting with Fran the other day. We're hoping to do some gigs together soon. So
brilliant. So I mean, just to finish off, then obviously you've got this second EP coming up soon. Do you know roughly when it'll get released or not?
Hopefully before summer. Ambiguous because we don't know really. We're in talks with a lot of labels.
Yeah, because you just signed up and stuff. Yeah.
That's the thing. Whenever the suit want to release it.
Yeah. And then in terms of gigs, have you got anything that you can plug at the moment? That you got any? What are the next gigs that you've got coming up?
We've got a few sorted, but I don't know if we're allowed to like announce them yet or anything. Right. We've got we're hoping to get on quite a few of the big festivals, so keep an eye out for that. We're hoping to do our own show before summer. like a big Manchester headline, and then hopefully do one, bring it back to Wigan at the end of summer, something like that. So I've also got a Liverpool show that we booked pre sort of lockdown that sold out, that we've still been unable to rearrange. We're hopefully going to get that sorted for everyone, because that's like a sellout show that we need to get sorted really. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, thanks very much for speaking to me, guys. I wish you the best luck with the second EP when it comes out, and hopefully I manage to get over to see you at a gig sometime soon. And
Definitely
stay safe. I hope you it's not too hectic over there in the UK.
No, cheers. Thank you so much, Howard.
All right.
Thanks for having
Cheers.
us.
Thanks very much.
See
Keep in
you
touch.
soon. Thank you, mate.
Nice to see you,
All right, take
Howard.
care then. All the best.
Bye bye.
Look back at the things you